All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to those of you who gave me those likes ahead of time. I know I always say that, but this is still a small channel. This is February 25th, 2026, and it's a small channel. So I appreciate those of you who look for me, and I appreciate those of you who come back and support over and over and over again. And Cynical Optimist, I appreciate you being the first one in yet again. I figured I'd fire the stream up a little bit early. I was going to go at 7:30. You know, the funny thing about YouTubing, I don't know if you guys recall a gentleman named LJ from Savings Minus Debt, but I think we collabed twice, and we were thinking of a time, and I said, no, let's not go at that time because many of the other content creators will be going. Many of the bigger content creators will be going. He said, you know what, forget all that. Content is content. So I was curious. Ask Your Brother podcast, Jeff St. James, he was here in October. He had Dr. Orion Taraban on his channel, the author of The Value of Others, Psych Hacks. This is a really good book. I highly recommend this book, but I was curious to see what they would talk about. I'm fans of both of theirs, so I decided to push the stream back about an hour. I was thinking about doing it tomorrow night, but tomorrow night is the our condominium annual meeting. So as soon as I get off the metro, I have to hop in my car. As soon as I get off the metro, I have to hop in my car and go hear a meeting about the condo association and maybe how much money we'll have to scrape up as owners for projects this year and the budget and all these different things. So I decided to just go tonight. I was hoping to have a Passport OG theater tonight, but salute to Passport OG. He is in Japan. There's a huge time difference. So this time slot was not ideal for us to collapse. So I said, okay, what can I do for one more? And I said, oh, let me talk about the Black and Brown Coalition, because we're gonna go back to the vault of accountable commentary. He made a really good video, just a really, really good video on the Black and Brown Coalition. And the backdrop of this video is not only Black History Month, but also the events in Minnesota, the recent events in Minnesota. So with that, it's not a long video. So I have some talking points here, and I'm going to show the video afterward, and then I'm going to wrap the stream up. And this should be my final Black History Month stream for this year. So no matter how long you join me, please like, share, and subscribe. And no matter how long you're here, please smash that like button, whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All of the engagement helps. If you were subbed, please make sure you're still subbed, because YouTube plays with your sub count. So with that, I'm going to play the intro, and then we're going to learn a little bit about the history of the Black and Brown Coalition. So, where did this topic come from? So I'm going to admit that because of where I come from, see, in this world, we're all living in different worlds, and not everybody is privy to the same information.
And why is it that we don't have community? Like I said, I talked about the Nigerians. They don't want, they start introducing OnlyFans in Africa. Now, they got trafficking, they got all kinds of sexual stuff going on there. But there are certain things that are Western that are being introduced in Africa, in those countries, that are not African, that are not a part of their traditional orientation. And when they can recognize that, that tells you that they have something that makes them who they are. And that's one of the reasons why when they come over here to the U.S., even though they're not as enlightened as we would like them to be, that's one of the reasons why they separate themselves from us. So the reason the Nigerians separate themselves from us, the Ghanaians separate themselves from us because they have a clear idea of who they are and what they're not. And that says a lot about this whole notion of community.
So, where did this topic come from? So I'm going to admit that because of where I come from, see, in this world, we're all living in different worlds, and not everybody is privy to the same information. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Discussions 76. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. I'm going to try to talk in a more measured way today, and I'm going to try not to lean over the microphone like this. In my last two streams, I don't know if I was just getting excited or if it was the mic settings, but on the playback, my voice, to me, it sounded very bassy and very not smooth. So there's maybe it's the microphone settings. Maybe I was just too close up on the microphone. Maybe I was just having too much of a good time. But I'm going to try to be a little bit more measured here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about unspoken truths about the Black and Brown Coalition, my final 2026 Black History Month stream. Guys, before I jump in, make sure you read. I don't know if it's this video. We're going to take another look at one of Accountable Commentary's videos. But in one of his videos, because he's created some Black History Month content about, there's one I really want to show tonight, but I won't do it because I'll be on another hour, about Booker T. Washington and Madam C.J. Walker. Okay, so in that offering, here I'll show you guys his library right now because I have it up. I would encourage you guys to go take a listen. I know that I mentioned Jeff St. James, Ask a Brother podcast. I mentioned him before the intro. I know he's talking with they're having their own men's roundtable discussion with Darwin McPherson and Obsidian, and I think it's going to be another reaction to that Clifton Powell roundtable discussion with the other guys who were all hyper focused on patriarchy. Okay, so I'm saying all this to say, let's take a quick look at his library right here. If you haven't watched these, you should at least take a look at the this one here about Madam C.J. Walker and Booker T. Washington. Okay, in that video, Accountable Commentary makes the case that Madam C.J. Walker wanted to be a part of Booker T. Washington's movement. He did not see her addition to his coalition aiding in the flourishing of the Black family and the Black community, the Black race at that time. Her business was primarily geared towards Black female beauty products. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is in the video, Accountable Commentary talks about how Booker T. Washington had a set lineup and a set vision, and he didn't see her fitting into that vision at that time, but she still kind of bullied her way in there and forced her way into his convention and forced her messaging into his convention in the meeting that he was having. So the whole point of the video is that it seems as though going back 100 years, 150 years, Black men and women have been arguing over the steering wheel. And just there's been this argument for leadership and who should lead and who should have control and who should have time at the podium. Master teacher B.J. Zimmer, he talks about, he's told us quite a bit about Pauli Murray, and there was a lot of angst and a lot of heartburn over who got to speak at the civil rights movement. This is something my dad does. Who actually got to speak at the civil rights movement, and the fact that it was primarily men who spoke at the civil rights movement, that caused a lot of heartburn to people like Pauli Murray and Eleanor Roosevelt. So this whole battle over gender, this has been going on for the last, for as far back as it's been going on for a long time. Okay. Way further back than our lifetimes. So you got to read, search things, research things. Don't just take what CNN and MS Now and the DNC and the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and Roland Martin, don't just take what they say at face value. Read Dark Ghetto. I have Dark Ghetto now. I'm working my way through this. I have Daughters of the Trade back there. I have The Man Not. This is on the pile too. I've read Our Kind of People, Inside of America's Black Upper Class. To a large degree, Dr. Tia San Johnson's book, Solutions for Anti-Black Misandry, Flat Blackness, and Black Male Death. There's history in this book as well. And of course, I had Dr. Ronald Neal here twice. And he will come back and we'll talk some more because there's a lot of history in this book. But there's a huge, and I said in the last stream, there's a huge dark underbelly to our history that nobody talks about. So I do believe that we should celebrate Arthur Ashe. So wrong slide. I do believe that we should celebrate Arthur Ashe and Mae Jemison and Dr. Martin Luther King and Reggie Jackson, Jesse Jackson. Well, Reggie Jackson and Jesse Jackson, but Jesse Jackson, rest in power. We should celebrate all these civil rights leaders and clergy people and Thurgood Marshall and Ketanji Brown Jackson. We should celebrate those people. But we should also learn the truth about things that actually happened. And a lot of us grew up not hearing or learning the truth, or at least the truth in its entirety. Okay. Before I jump into the Black and Brown Coalition, one more round of advertising. My brother Amal Dunbar is making this merch. This is Elijah McCoy. He invented the self-lubricating engine, the real McCoy. My brother is selling this merchandise. If you want a shirt like this, others are on the way. This is Alice Parker. She made contributions to HVAC. If you want one of these shirts, I will leave my brother's email address in the chat there, and I'm gonna, if I can remember, I'll leave it in the comments section of the playback of this video. All right, so let's jump in. The Black and Brown Coalition. Okay, so a part of our history, a part of our Black history, okay, in terms of Black people in the United States, a whole subsection of this, you could argue, involves dealing with other ethnic groups, okay, other tribes of Black people from Africa, from the Caribbean, okay, from the UK. How do you Black people from Africa and the Caribbean and the UK and maybe even parts of Central and South America, how do they perceive us? How do we perceive them? Do we all like each other? Do we all get along? Just because we share the same hue, Are we the same people? Do we have the same goals and aspirations for our people? Do other tribes of Black people from Jamaica and Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, do they look at American-born descendants of slaves in this country? Do they look at us with respect, or do they look at us with contempt? Okay, when they come here, do they stand with us, or are they looking for their own distinct opportunities? Okay, so that's just interactions with our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, in Africa, in South America, in Central America, in the UK. Okay, that all can get very complicated. What about other ethnic groups? What about other brown people? In my content, in previous content, I've talked about. I'm fighting off a cold here. In previous content, I've talked about brown people. Okay, so you have Black people, that would be us, ADOS, foundational Black Americans, descendants of slaves, and then you have the Negro, and then you have brown people. You guys know who brown people are. Brown people are Asians, okay, from India, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, from Saudi Arabia. Okay, they consider themselves brown people. Okay, if you're watching this, have you ever heard of that? Okay, we're considered we're Negroes. We're the Black people. They consider themselves brown people. So that right there, there's another difference, because those groups see themselves as different than us. And I'm not saying in the stream, don't be friends with people from the Caribbean and Central America, South America, Pakistan, India. I'm not saying don't befriend those people, because I have friends from those groups. Let me moisturize my throat here. My point is, that's better. All these groups see themselves as something different, right? And they don't necessarily see themselves as foundational Black American descendants of slaves. Now, in recent years, we've had the immigration thing going on, and under the Biden administration, we had the mass exodus of people from Mexico, from South America, come into the country, and there have been reasons for that. Part of it's the birth rate crisis. Part of it is potentially being a replacement class. Dr. Claude Anderson, for years, has been trying to warn the descendants of slaves here of buffer classes and replacement classes. Okay, and being wary of just putting your arms around people and bringing them in here, because they may be coming to replace you. Okay, he's been trying to sound that warning for years and years and years, but his voice hasn't been out in front. And the other thing about us as a people is that we do tend to put our arms around other groups of people. We do tend to put our arms around other groups of people and say, come on in, we're all together. Okay, but do those groups look at us the same way? Okay, part of it is our our history of the church, the Black church, being good Christians. My mother has said this. We're called to be giving to others. We're called to embrace others. Okay. But in the process of embracing those people, what are their intentions for us? Okay. So, long story short, is there such a thing as a Black and Brown coalition, a true Black and Brown coalition? Is it just smoke and mirrors? Is it something else? And shortly after President Biden and Kamala got elected, I think Sharpton, a bunch of the mainstream civil rights folks, they went into a room with President Biden and Kamala, and they said, well, we helped get you elected. Now what are you going to give? And Biden said, look, you need to learn to work with these Hispanics. And we're not going to do much for you individually, but you better learn to work with these Hispanics. Okay. So is there a such thing as a true Black and Brown coalition? Okay. Give me 1 second here. Please like, share, and subscribe. If anyone wants to donate to the channel, my information is there in the ticker. The super chat is live. All right. So the Black and Brown coalition. No, Alonzo, I had to go turn the heat off. It was getting a little toasty in here. So Accountable Commentary made a really good video called "This Is Not Our Fight." This is not our fight. And it was made as the whole Minnesota thing was going on, which we haven't heard a lot about recently. So things must be a little more under control there now. But this video was from 3 weeks ago. And the Minnesota thing, it's been interesting. As Black people, one of the things you've heard quite a bit is, this is not our fight. I'm not throwing myself out there for this. I don't think we were hearing this about 10 years ago, but that's a sentiment now. And that's that this is not our fight. This doesn't concern us. And I think in a lot of neighborhoods like those in Chicago that have been overrun, I think there are Black people who have been happy to see this going on, this deportation thing. Okay. So with that, while I still have my voice here, let's watch this video by Accountable Commentary. This is only 13 minutes. So this won't be long. So as we watch this, keep in mind what you hear from the DNC, what you hear from maybe some of your parents who are church going, who feel like, okay, we as Christians, our job is to wrap our arms around everybody. Think about Representative Pam Keith from Florida, probably about 5-6 years ago. We love everybody. Okay. But does everybody love you back? Okay. And is this the people who are coming here? Do they have our best interests at heart? Keep that in mind as you watch this. Fair use, fair use. See that that sign says black and brown power. Turn the sound up there. Fair use. Thank you, Alonzo.
One of the black man's biggest problem is that he would join an oppressed group of people no matter who they are, no matter their, racial identity, no matter their background, ethnic background, no matter their nationality. He would join this group because he has this sense of justice in him that if there is an injustice, it needs to be corrected.
That, and I'm going to stick it to Whitey. Okay, that's a motivation as well. Let's gang up on Whitey. Okay, I'm not saying, okay, so I'm just saying, I'm just agreeing with what he's saying. He's saying historically there's been a need to get into the middle of things and support what seem to be oppressed, disenfranchised classes. Okay. Besides our group. Fair use.
He would join the same group that will later on show the same form of discrimination that he sees happening with them. Even though he's been through it, his people been through it, his people continue to go through it, but he still would align himself with these people because he thinks it's the right thing to do. And that's ultimately one of his biggest downfalls, thinking a group of people have the same interests you have when they ultimately don't at all. At all. It's not the same. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you're going through. The only time they care about what's happening with them is when they're being targeted. And when I say oppressed people, I'm saying what that black man will see or perceive them to be oppressed, or how he see them. I'm not saying they are oppressed. I'm saying that black men see them as oppressed. Therefore, he would stick his neck out for these people.
No, AC said black men in particular, but this is black men, black women. That this applies to both, wanting to stand with and advocate for other groups if we feel like we identify with them. But again, the question is, do they identify with us?
He would jump in the ocean for a group of people that wouldn't step into a puddle for him. Let me say that again. He will jump into an ocean for a group of people that won't step into a puddle for him. Let's this the reason why history is very important, black men. History is very important. Very important. Without history, you don't know what's happening to you. You don't know what's going on around you because history repeats itself. Let's revisit a little bit of history based upon what I'm talking about right now.
Okay, so this gentleman right here, Accountable Commentary, is going to tell us about this gentleman. I never heard of this gentleman. I didn't know this man's history until watching this video. Fair use.
This right here is Felix Tiarina. I need you to pay attention to what I'm about to say, black men. Some of y'all may know, some of y'all may not know, right? He, was born in Mexico, right? And he immigrated to the United States and ended up in Houston, Texas, right? He was there as a teenager and he was working as a busboy in the first Tex-Mex restaurant, right? And what he ended up doing was learning the business. When he learned the business, he ended up opening up his own restaurants.
So this gentleman, this hombre, he used the bootstrap method. He was busting tables, and then he was smart enough to get the business sense, and then he moved up and started his own establishment or establishments. So he became a capitalist.
During the Great Depression, those restaurants ended up failing for obvious reasons. But he became a truck driver, right, during the Great Depression. And then when the Great Depression was over, he opened up these restaurants again, and they became successful. With him being successful, he ended up being a philanthropist, and also not only just a philanthropist, he became an activist, right? And once he became an activist, and he became an activist because he was politically aware of where him and his people were at in the political structure, and he wanted to do something about it.
So he became politically active. He got into business. He became wealthy, and at that point, he understood capitalism. So he wanted to influence the plight of his people through policy. So we see that a lot. Very use.
So what he ended up doing and then ended up becoming was the 25th president of the League of the United Latin American Citizens, right? Now, for y'all that don't know, that's the LULAC. It's the largest and oldest Hispanic and Latin American civil rights organization in the United States. It was established in February 17th, 1929, right? So he ended up becoming the 25th president. And when that happened, because the NAACP was paying attention, they asked him to join in the fight against oppression.
So the NAACP, that's W.E.B. Du Bois, those are our people. Okay, so they saw this organization building steam, and then they said, well, let's go join forces. Let's build a bigger coalition. And then what happened?
They asked him to join. And you know what he said? Take a good guess what he said. Because he was the figurehead for his people. He said, this is word for word, verbatim. He said, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him.
Boom. How does the Denzel Washington gif from Training Day go? Boom. Let's run that back.
For his people. He said, this is word for word, verbatim. He said, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him.
Now, my voice feels better. Now, as I was watching this, I was also thinking that, what you hear and what I've heard is that there is a bit of a caste system for Spanish-speaking people, Latin Americans as well. There's a caste for Black people. There's a caste for Indians, and even within the Mexican population, there are those who can pass for white, apparently, and they feel like they're better than their more tanned compadres. So okay, so I'm saying this to say that, well, I'm just making that observation. Strelavo says, thank you for this. He says he didn't want any of the FBI and CIA smoke. They was hitting the black community hard back then. Okay, thank you for adding that. So that might have been part of his motivation right there. Afro Merchant, thank you for stopping through. Fair use, fair use.
I don't want to ally with him. With the Negro. He did not support civil rights. He did not support black civil rights. Matter of fact, a member of the league, of his league, right, was asked why they don't want to team up with the civil rights and this lowlife had the nerve to say, and it was from his, because they're dirty.
Because they are dirty.
This is what the League of United Latin American Citizens promoted. They did not want to align with us. So black and brown has always been a myth that's conjured up through two things. When they going through something, that's when that black and brown unity is supposed to mean something. And the black man inability to realize that him always teaming up for a group that he think is being oppressed, it's going to hold him back because he's supposed to focus on himself and his people, and by putting those resources and energies into another group of people that won't do the same will only leave you stagnant.
So remember, there's the sentiment that we have to help out. We owe it to other groups to help them out. We're Christians. We're called to be giving and better, and we're called to come to the aid of others. Okay, but where is that ultimately? You think about the parable of the Good Samaritan. Okay, but in this instance, what's the right thing to do for you and your people? Fair use, fair use. And then the other thing is that one of the things that came to light with the immigration piece now is, for your people, will benefits be taken? Will your people be ignored politically? Will your people lose government services and government programs? Okay, what's the end result of all this? All right.
Leave you and your group stagnant, or even worse. This is not our problem. This is how most groups of people feel when it comes to us. This is how most of them feel. Black men, your problem is you want to invite everybody to the cookout. Everybody's invited.
So you guys remember I mentioned Pam Keith? We love everybody. We take everybody. All right. Is that the wise thing to do? Serlavo says, because we were always stationed in near proximity to other cultures. because they were always stationed in near proximity to other cultures. They show up at our schools, and we incorporate them into our families, so to speak, and we end up fending for them against whites. So Donald Trump, President Trump, is the perfect individual to galvanize this type of thing. Okay, we got to stop Trump. We got to oppose Trump. We can't let Trump win. We can't let him do what he's doing. So he himself has served as a flashpoint for Black people in particular to rally around and try to oppose, in this instance, the deportation efforts. Okay. So I think that those scars from Jim Crow and the civil rights movement, they very much influence modern thinking. And that's understandable to some degree, but you have to, I think, in modern times, look and say, okay, well, what's wise to do now based upon what we've experienced, based upon our relations and interactions with other groups of people, immigrant classes, other tribes of Black people. What's the best thing to do now?
You want to invite everybody to the cookout. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. You want to invite everybody to the cookout. You want to invite everybody to dinner. No. When Christopher Columbus explored the New World, right? Explored. We know he didn't discover anything, but when he explored the New World and he met the natives, you know what they did? They invited him in to eat with them. In the diary of Christopher Columbus, he said, "I wonder why they are so friendly." That was in his diary. I wonder why they are so friendly. And with them being so friendly, they will be easy to conquer. He saw a little bit of gold and then asked, I wonder where their gold mine's at.
With them being so friendly, they'll be a lot easier to conquer.
Where's the mines at? Based off of the hospitality that he was receiving. Hospitality is weak. Hospitality is weak. You don't even show each other this hospitality, but you show it to other people. They look at it as a form of weakness. It's a form of weakness. It is a form of weakness. Being all friendly with outside groups is a form of weakness. It's a extreme form of weakness. Because they look at it and they say, oh, got him. We got him. We got one. This is not our fight. It's not our problem. It's not our problem at all. It's not our problem.
Ray Alexander wrote, why the Latino browning of America won't mean power for Blacks, the presumed alliance, the unspoken conflict between Latinos and Blacks, and what it means for America, by Nicholas C. Vaca, PhD. Thank you for this, Ray Alexander.
This is not our problem. They sat back for decades, watching us go through stuff. They sat back for decades, watching us go through things. And they didn't want to align with us. Nobody wanted to align with us. Nobody stepped up and say, hey, that's wrong. We was going through it by ourselves. And when we try to line up with them and form a group and form a team, form a power structure between the two, they told us to kick rocks. It's time to do you hear me? It's time to give them that same energy. They told us to kick rocks.
Sir Lavo says, we have historically sought to be included, and so we offer what we desire. It's odd. It's odd as all get out. I believe it's our attempt to be fair and honest. We are definitely too biblical. Okay. Non-Swirlzo says, bro reminds me of that segment of the Sinners movie, let certain people in the door. Yeah, and I'll go back. Having a president like the current president we have, I think that especially causes the older people in our ethnic group, our race, to say, okay, we gotta stop him, and if they're against him, if he's attacking them, he's gonna attack us. If he's deporting them, he's gonna deport us. You guys have heard talk like that. Well, we're gonna get deported next. Is that true? I don't know. Is he gonna deport us? But there's a lot of fear associated with something like this. When we see it happening to other groups, there's this fear that it's gonna happen to us, and we have to oppose what that person is doing, even if it's good for us in the long term. Okay. Fair use. This is just about over.
Hey, we should line up. We should team up. That way we can be stronger against the oppression. They're against you. They're against us. Kick rocks. That's what they said. That's their problem. That's what they told us. We don't want to be aligned with them. That's what they told us. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, just look them up. Just look him up. Felix Tijuana. Felix Tiarena, not T. Felix Tiarena. That's what they said. So what you do now is give them that same energy. Hey, it's black and brown. Kick rocks. Tell your story walking. Tell your story walking, Duke. We don't want to hear it. That's all I want to talk about. Peace, black men. Enjoy the rest of your day if you hear this, or the rest of your night when you hear this. Peace.
All right, guys. So that's it. That's it. So Ray Alexander says, as the number of Latinos has increased dramatically, competition over power and resources between these two groups has led to surprisingly antagonistic and uncooperative interactions. Nicholas Vaca. Ray Alexander, you're going to make me look this person up. But what's interesting, I'm gonna personalize this a little bit. Hopefully my voice holds up. I have a cousin who was very, and I'm not telling anyone who to vote for or who to support, but I have a cousin who was very, very staunchly, Trump is a racist. He's a bigot. He's this, he's that, and I'm not saying that he's not. Okay, but in the first go round, she was very, very. And then during the Biden administration, my cousin said she felt betrayed. Okay, she is now she's going to be anonymous here. I won't say her name. 4 children. I'm pretty sure she got which no, she does get. She must get some public services because she's got 4 children. Unmarried. I'll just leave it at that. But I wonder if any of her benefits were compromised by the mass influx of people into the country. Okay. Or maybe it was just seeing the mass influx of people into the country that made her feel betrayed by the Biden administration. But to their defense, they are looking at population collapse. And maybe now, in terms of the Negro and the descendants of slaves, maybe now they're looking also and seeing that we're philosophically we're breaking up, we're atomizing and fragmenting, and with the boomers gone, maybe they're looking and seeing, okay, well, we're not going to get the same voter support that their parents and their grandparents gave us. So maybe that has something to do with the mass influx of people coming into the country as well, in addition to needing cheap labor. But now the other thing, so those are with South Americans and Mexicans, but you guys, have you seen also the recent comments by that Haitian woman that's made waves as well because she called Black Americans dirty? Okay. So that goes back to the beginning of the stream. How do, even though there are people that look like us in the Bahamas and the Virgin Islands and Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Guyana, how do they view us? Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. That's something to keep in mind when you're called to join arms with everybody and rise up with everybody. Are we ultimately all on the same team? Okay. Or are we on the same team up until a certain point when the spoils have to be divided up? Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't do this stream. I'm going to wrap this up now. I didn't do this stream to tell you not to be friends or date people from Latin American countries. I'm not saying that at all. I have friends and acquaintances from Latin American countries, from Arabic countries, from Asia. So I'm not saying don't be friends with these people. I'm not saying don't date these people. I'm not saying don't associate with these people. But I just wanted to highlight this video by a accountable commentary, because in this particular season with the happenings in Minnesota with the Renee Good lady and the Alex Peretti guy, there's this, well, let's all rally behind this effort. Okay. Even at I attend a progressive church. It's, those names were mentioned in the pulpit. We need to rally behind this evil effort, but the groups that we're rallying behind to help, the question is, who are they allied with us as well? And this is a part of our history, because the same groups that we've always tried to help out didn't always necessarily see us as allies and benefactors as well. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about this. This is a part of our history. This is a not so pretty part of our history. Okay. Did anybody see who remembers Sugar Hill? Sugar Hill, starring Wesley Snipes and Clarence Williams III and Teresa Randall and Michael Wright. Who remembers Sugar Hill? Do you guys remember Sugar Hill? It was a good movie. There was a key scene there when Romello and his brother they were in the nightclub and they wanted to start a partnership with some African drug dealers. And the African drug dealers laughed, and he said, "We don't do business with the Akatas. We don't do business with Akatas. Akatas, cotton pickers. So we're not doing business with you." And then this fight broke out because he insulted Romello and his brother. A lot of Non-Swirl Zone. You can get it. You can find that on Amazon Prime. You can find that on probably on Tubi, wherever you can download movies. Just look up Sugar Hill and you'll find that. But that was a key scene in the movie. I saw it as a teenager. I didn't really understand, but I don't know if you guys know Hotep Jesus and Uncle Hotep. Uncle Hotep, he used that joke quite a bit. Akata shines. He would make fun of I guess probably woke liberal black people and call them Akatas. Akata shines. But and then you even had folks from the West Indies, folks from Jamaica, folks from Haiti, folks from who think that Black Americans are lazy, Black Americans don't work hard, Black Americans are shiftless. So Africans as well, and there's a lot of tension. So Tariq Nasheed and Jason Black have been very, very upfront with calling these people tethers. Okay, tethers, wanting to latch on until they get the benefits, and then they go back to not identifying with the descendants of slaves. So, yeah, it's a complex topic, but yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap the stream up before my voice surrenders again, and I need to eat something before I lay down. Ray Alexander, let's look this gentleman up for a moment. Nicholas C. Vaca. Vaca, that's cow in Spanish. Vaca. Ray Alexander is very well read. Okay, there's no image of this individual. Let's see. So he's a graduate of Harvard Law School. There he is. All right, Ray Alexander. This is everybody. This is the individual Ray Alexander has turned us on to. Thank you, Ray Alexander. We should all learn something here on my channel. He's from Harvard, so he's, comes from a very prestigious line there with Barack Obama and Hill Harper and many, many others. All right. Nicholas C. Vaca, he looks like he's Mexican or Central American. Okay. A graduate of Harvard Law School, Nicholas C. Vaca holds a PhD in sociology from the University of California at Berkeley. He is a practicing attorney in the Bay Area and has been a visiting scholar at University of California at Berkeley for the past 2 years. An award-winning journalist, Vaca is also a contributing writer to the prestigious journal California Lawyer. He lives in California. Okay. And there is his book in the background, Alliance, the unspoken conflict between Latinos and Blacks and what it means for America. Thank you, Ray Alexander, and salute. All right, everybody, let me wrap this up. Thank you for those who are watching. And again, my intent for this was not to say don't befriend people from other countries. There are a lot of good people from other countries. On a race level, though, we have the dynamics can get very complicated. That's all. That's all. And there's another gentleman, before I wrap up, his name is Gad Saad. He is Jewish, and they have the tensions there in the Middle East. But he coined a term. I don't know if he invented it, but suicidal empathy. Suicidal empathy. Okay, that's in the zeitgeist, in the ether as well. Let's see. Totally Awesome says, Ray Alexander, correct. Latins are just as prejudiced or racist as white Americans look at the Hispanic countries. So they do have they have colorism in these other countries too. Absolutely. And I heard it's in Mexico as well. It's in Brazil. It's here. It's in Africa. In Africa, they're trying to whiten themselves. A lot of people, Sammy Sosa, look at Sammy Sosa. He tried to whiten himself. A lot of ladies in Africa are bleaching their skin. So pretty much every country, there's a desire to associate with whiteness or have close proximity to whiteness. Ray Alexander says, Latin America offers proof that a country can have a large population of black, brown, multiracial people and still be governed by the same racial hierarchy that gave us slavery and colonialism. Okay. Guys, I'm an author myself. This is my book. I'm just gonna for my YouTube subs, I'm selling the paperback for $22 and the hardcover for $27. You can use one of those methods in the ticker. And my online store is also in the description box. You can find it. It warmed up today, but a cold is trying to overtake me. This is my online store. If you use the coupon code GoBlue, that'll take $5 off one of the list prices for the paperback or the hardcover. Hey guys, thank you for the support. I'm not a big channel at this time, but I think this will be my last Black History Month stream for 2026. But I will be talking about relevant topics relating to Black history throughout the year. Once I finish The Man Not, maybe I'll try to hunt down Tommy Curry, Dr. Tommy J. Curry. I'll have Dr. Ronald Neal back, Dr. T.S.I. Johnson back, and other individuals. So with that, everybody, thank you for your support. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're on the replay gang and you want to donate something to the channel, my information is there in the ticker in the description box. And you can also leave a super thanks. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.